Ambago ako sumanase. Ambago ako sumanase. توكل تمكن كدري تمكن كدري عفر تحكى عفر عفر يدادو جاك فرتو بكروي تمكن كدري وقتا إلى أم إنجليز بارو حنفن عفر يدادو عفر ميقا عفر عبلا عفر دوريتا وقتا تمكن سن عبان مغرب سرات شكرا ديني سين البحير صار إن شاء الله وقاشتا.
So it seems like his ancestors must have moved through this region at some point in the past. But what's really interesting is the next marker after that, which produced the end branch. This is not really seen in Africa today. It actually arose in Arabia. So we think this points to the place where modern humans first left Africa at some point before 60,000 years ago.
Eddie's travelling 5,000 kilometres across the continent to the small country of Djibouti. He wants to reach the place where modern humans probably first left Africa, a narrowing of the Red Sea, known as the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The route passes through some of Africa's harshest terrain. At 157 metres below sea level, Ayxxaaxu is the lowest place in Africa. It is also saltier than the Dead Sea.
Who the hell comes here? Anyway, they dig up salt from here, so there are people who live here and work here. I'd freaking quit. And I was feeling car sick, and then fear goes into this, and then... So anyway, I don't want to be here. If you lived here, you'd go, this is Mordor. And then after you go, Mordor. Kind of town. If you don't know Mordor, it's of course the Lord of the Rings place where Mr. Bad Guy lives, the guy with the one big eye. Just think, imagine way back, you heard that, you would think that was the gods being angry, or having a bad tummy. Probably a lot of guys said, this is how God's angry. They're angry with you, Steve. But anyway, probably going to get hit by lightning.
Despite his fear of getting fried by the gods, Eddie's determined to press on. Many of the inhabitants of this coastline share the genetic marker that suggests our ancestors passed through here. There's evidence these early modern humans were, for the first time, exploiting the marine environment. Deposits of shellfish from an archaeological site show they were harvesting the fruits of the sea. But Eddie's quest to reach the place the Izzards left Africa may have been thwarted.
We're in a dust storm, so if you're going at 15 kilometers an hour, you just can't see anything. So we don't know what we're going to hit, so we will stop for a while. Have sandwiches. Sing song. King, gang.
It's a reminder of how resilient early modern humans must have been in order to survive.
It's really tough. It's a tough land. It's a tough fight now. It would have been a tough fight then. We're not sure what the conditions were back then, but it really is tough. Nicola, who was driving, has decided to continue. He feels happy that driving into the sand We've got military people with us with guns, so we can shoot invisible sand monsters that come.
After 2 hours, Eddie emerges from the sandstorm at his destination, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. He's just 35 kilometers from the Arabian country of Yemen, where it's thought modern humans first stepped outside Africa. Bizarrely, the Yemen is also where Eddie himself was born. Today, on the African side of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, fishing is still as important as it was to our ancestors. To explore what life might have been like around 60,000 years ago, Eddie is off to help catch some fish, accompanied by his translator, Fatima. They are meeting Nouria Ahmed Suli. She is one of just 3 fisherwomen in the whole of Djibouti.
Nouria, who is from Djibouti, an Afar woman, which is very close to the Yemeni people, who Yemen is just over there. And she's the captain. You can see it in her face that she's a can-do woman. So how long has she been a fisherwoman?
20 years.
20 years. And what was she doing before?
I have faced so many problems. I became a fisherwoman.
Oh, right.
I married, and I was happy with my family, with my children at my home. The war happened in Obok, as a civil war.
So civil war happened, and after that she became a fisherwoman?
Yes.
Where does she sell the fish that she catches? Only in Yemen?
Here, they pay 250. There, they pay 1,000 francs.
Okay, so 4 times as much for the fish.
Yes.
And when she goes to Yemen, does she go over Bab el-Mandeb? That is the route you take? She goes in this boat, she goes to Yemen.
Yes.
Does she speak Arabic?
I speak Arabic well. I speak Somali also.
All I can say is, Ismi Eddie, ولدت في عدن في اليمن. Just Ismi Eddie, ولدت في عدن. How many fish do you think here?
It's more than 100.
More than 100 fish. You've got to get the fish out of the nets, which is really tricky, and not break the nets. I got one. Where do we throw it?
Every day, Nouria follows the same route our ancestors probably took when they left Africa. The Bab el-Mandeb is still a highway to Arabia.
Bon voyage! Salamata!
No one knows for sure why modern humans left Africa, but our innate curiosity and environmental change may have been 2 important factors. It's thought global cooling and ice age meant sea levels were lower at this time. Perhaps the shorter distance made the crossing more attractive. Some scientists believe only a handful of people made the initial crossing. Remarkably, it's thought that only 2 women gave birth to the rest of humanity outside Africa. One maternal line reached Australia, but Eddie's took a different route and headed towards Europe.
That's the journey that humanity took 60 to 70,000 years ago. Maybe as few as 200 people, maybe only 2 women. My mother's line, which is not only my line, it's everyone's line who became European. So we all have problems whether we're British or whether we're European, or British European, as I consider myself. But in fact, we're all coming from one mother who came across here and gave birth to nearly everyone in Europe.
Political unrest has prevented Eddie from making the crossing to the Yemen. Frustratingly, he can't follow directly in the footsteps of modern humans as they ventured outside Africa, or visit his own birthplace.
My dad and my mum met there, so it's very important to us. Mum working as a nurse for BP oil refining, dad as an accountant, and so it means a lot. My brother was born there, I was born there. My mum died 6 years later, So, and we have these cine film memories of mum and dad there. It's in here, and bizarrely just happens to be the place where the exodus of humanity went through. This is it, the birthplace of the exodus, the first exodus.
It's time for Eddie to leave his and our shared African roots behind. This is now the story of those of us who spread out across the rest of the world. Jim Wilson has been investigating where Eddie's female ancestors went after this momentous moment in human history. It means jumping forward another 42,000 years.
Eddie's next significant marker, which gave birth to the T2 branch, originated about 18,000 years ago. Today, it's most common in populations in the Middle East and Turkey. So it seems that Eddie's ancestors are likely to have moved north, probably following the Fertile Crescent, which runs from the Persian Gulf up to Turkey. And it seems like they were still there for one of the most significant turning points in human history, the birth of agriculture, about 10,500 years ago. Farming meant an abundance of new foods and a more settled lifestyle. In a way, it is the birth of civilization. And it's here that something very interesting happened to Eddie's and many of our ancestors' genes.
The next step in the motherland journey is to go to Turkey. And you're going to learn more there about how agriculture took hold. And you're also going to learn where your blue eyes came from.
Where my blue eyes came from, that is very interesting. Thank you very much, Dr. Jim. That'd be good to go to Turkey. My parents went on honeymoon to Turkey, to Istanbul.
To explore his ancestors' roots in agriculture, Eddie's traveling to Turkey's Black Sea coast. Turkey has some of the earliest archaeological evidence for the domestication of cattle and sheep. This area is still known for dairy farming. Some of the people here share Eddie's marker. Eddie's meeting farmer Fatima Teskan and her family, who are carrying on the tradition.
So do I need to hold?
Yeah, you can hold. Yeah, maybe like...
Local guide, Boket Sahin, joins Eddie to translate.
And how often do they milk the goats?
Every morning.
Do you make cheese from this milk?
She makes her own homemade yogurt, homemade butter,
Right?
all different kind of cheeses.
All right, from the goat's milk.
Yes.
Milk is especially useful for Fatima's family.
Her son had a tumor in his brain. She thinks goat milk is much healthier, especially for children with diseases.
Right.
The domestication of animals gave humans a valuable new food source from dairy products. But there was a hitch. Adults in many early agricultural communities were intolerant to milk. Genetics came to the rescue.
What exactly is this, Fatima?
Ayran,
And what is it made of?
su var ve tuz var.
Goat milk, yogurt, water, and salt.
Here you go. So I'll just have a bit of this.
Eddie and most Europeans can digest milk due to a genetic change that occurred around this time. It means we can process dairy products beyond infancy, whereas many people in the rest of the world can't.
So I can taste yogurty in there. It's really nice and fresh and has a salty aftertaste. So thank you. When I was a teenager, I used to drink a litre a day. I used to neck it. I loved milk. I still do. I thought it was at some point. I'm like becoming Chalk Boy, the calcium kid, you know.
This ability to digest milk wasn't the only genetic change that occurred to Eddie's family around this time.
You have blue eyes, I have blue eyes. Do other people in your family have blue eyes?
Kendi ailem, babam, kardeşlerim.
Her father, all her siblings, and both of her children has
All right.
blue eyes.
Yeah, cool.
Eddie's guide, Buket, discusses the most up-to-date theory on the remarkable origin of blue eyes.
A recent study by a team of genetic researchers in Copenhagen University,
Okay.
everyone with blue eyes can be traced back to Black Sea coast 10,000 years ago.
Everyone with blue eyes can be traced back to Black Sea.
Yes.
Wow.
It was a single person
That's very curious.
Blue eyes originating in one person isn't the only surprise. Both parents need to give blue-eyed genes to their offspring. So given that even today most of us are brown-eyed, the trait shouldn't survive at all.
Why doesn't it die out?
One of the most popular theory is that it is very attractive. And when there was a shortage of men, as they were hunters at that time, women with blue eyes were more desirable. So it's the sexual selection, and it's very attractive, like gorgeous eyes you have.
Yeah. I always miss eye colours. Do you notice eye colours though? Women tend to notice eye colours better than men.
Well, I do. I mean, even if you look at Hollywood, the legendary people like Sinatra, Elvis, you know, Paul Newman.
So blue eyes, which only turned up about 10,000 years ago, roughly, it could have just touched around by sexual attraction, people saying, hey, let's shag the man or woman with the blue eyes and have babies. For whatever reason, blue eyes have persisted. They're doing the rounds.
So where did the milk-drinking Izzards take their blue eyes next? Their adventure in agriculture led to Europe. The most likely place they entered the continent was the Bosphorus Straits, where Asia and Europe are separated by just a narrow stretch of water. 1.5 million people still make this crossing every day.
My ancestors came across here, maybe Hawaii 5-0 style, maybe with sails. I think sails would be out back then, and it was right here.
On the European side of the Bosphorus, Eddie can't resist staying in the hotel where his parents honeymooned. Tuba Attis is a manager at the hotel.
Really happy to accommodate you here.
Okay.
This is the previous D1 here, and your family stayed here 904.
Oh, really?
Yes,
How do you know this?
Of course, we searched the
records?
Yes,
Oh,
the
wow.
records, yes. This is the same room you're staying.
This is in the same room?
Yes.
Can I take these pictures back to my dad afterwards? Or get a copy?
Of course, this is for you.
Wow. I'm in room 904. I don't know if you remember the room you were in, but apparently it was this one.
Yeah, that's to get the view. We had a good view of the Bosphorus.
I've got a bit of a view of the Bosphorus, but unfortunately the Hyatt Hotel has come along and built a bloody great big hotel in the way of the Bosphorus.
Does happen, yeah.
Also, Mum's actual heritage comes through Istanbul, where you were on home. Yeah, so that's kind of just another irony. All right, Dad.
Are you keeping well?
Yeah, keeping well. We were all kind of knackered.
All right, mate.
Good
Thanks
to
for the call.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
Bye now.
Bye.
Around 7,500 years ago, Eddie's mum's line probably moved into Europe as part of the agricultural revolution.
The spread of farming into Europe is a bit like the scramble for land in the Wild West. You have to imagine, with something around 8 million people in the world at the time, many of them in the Middle East, that there was a continuous pressure for new land for agriculture. It looks like there were two main migration routes into the continent. One into Central Europe, following the main river valleys, and another hugging the Mediterranean shore of Southern Europe. Eddie's direct lineage headed northwest into the heart of the continent. But before he explores where they went, he's first going to check out what happened to some ancestral cousins who entered Europe along its southern fringes. Over the next 5,000 years, they settled in some very interesting places.
Hello?
Dr. Jim, where am I off to next?
You're going to Pompeii.
Pompeii.
Pompeii in some way is representative of the next stage where great civilizations are developing, and of course they're all entirely based on agriculture.
So we're going there at a time that's before it blew up.
Just around about 79 AD, I think.
Oh, around 79. Oh, right. Okay, we're going there Tuesday before explosion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Pompeii will be exciting. I've been intrigued to see Pompeii for years. I think I'm quite good at imagining what it would be like to be there as a Roman. That will be fascinating.
By 79 AD, Pompeii was a flourishing Roman town in southern Italy with a population of 20,000 people. But its residents were unaware that they were sitting on an active volcano. Here, Eddie won't be hanging out with modern-day descendants of his ancestors. He'll be meeting genetic cousins who died nearly 2,000 years ago. His guide is anatomist Professor Maciej Henenberg. Before Eddie meets his long-dead relatives, Maciej wants to show him one of the delights of lost Pompeii.
So, shagging. This is a house of sex?
Yes, so people came here for entertainment,
Okay.
and they had paintings showing what is happening here. This was done on stone.
That's doggy stone.
Yes, well, they're showing various sexual positions, which is fairly similar to what one can see on internet today.
Yes.
Actually, and they're showing some curiosities, like people with double penis, for example.
Oh, really? Is that a medical thing? I don't know how to do it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'm an anatomist. I study anatomical variations.
Okay.
And actually, both double vagina and double penis happen.
Oh. Okay. That sounds crazy.
And the beds are telling us how small people were.
All right. Yeah.
It shows that people were, on average, about 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters shorter than we are today. Then there is a toilet. Romans were much more open about the toilets. So, for example, they had communal toilets.
A lot of people actually sat here, right here, in this very space, doing a poo, having a chat, saying, just having a poo, and I'll be right back in for number 4, bit of number 4, and a bit of that old number 2, a bit of 2 and 2, a bit of 4.
And food is across the road.
I'll have a poo, we'll have some sex, and then we'll go and get a McDonald's.
Eddie has come to Pompeii's laboratory to meet some of his relatives. They couldn't give a spit sample, so their ancient DNA was extracted from their teeth.
This fellow is your genetic cousin. Sadly, he was born with a congenital problem, so he had this tilted head, which is called torticollis.
Torticollis.
A nerve to his neck muscles was damaged because somebody helping the baby to be born pulled his head too much. And therefore we both share something with him. Because you share his genes,
Right.
and I shared his condition.
Oh, really?
Because until I was 12, I walked like this. So otherwise he was quite a handsome fellow, as most people sharing your genes are. So.
This is what I heard.
Yes.
Eddie's genetic cousin died in 79 AD, when a volcanic eruption overwhelmed Pompeii.
I mean, logically, people were leaving. Why did this family stay?
I think we discovered why. And here's the answer.
All right, let me
And she's also your cousin, a young woman, about 17 years of age.
She was 17?
She was 17 at the moment of her death, and she carried a baby in her belly, and the baby was just about to be born. It was the last month of pregnancy. So the family says, we have to stay with you. And she was huddled in a corner of the room, protecting her baby, holding a bunch of coins to her breast, wearing heavy jewelry that stained her bones, the shoulder blades, the forearm bones, and her head is stained too, so she had some kind of a headdress.
Okay, this is all kind of fascinating and tragic at the same time.
13 members of the same extended family died together. Eddie wants to visit the place where it happened.
This is huge.
The house belonged to Caius Julius Polybius, a former slave and successful politician.
They were lying here in this room, the old man on the floor, and next to him a teenage boy, and the boy was holding father's hand. They must have been already afraid. And at the feet of the teenage boy, a younger boy, a few years old. And eventually they were covered by more and more of the ash. And this is the other room where the rest of the family died. Here was the 17-year-old young woman covered in her finery and with the baby in her belly. That's where she eventually died.
Not a great way to go. They found about 20 centimeters of ash in the rooms, which would have blown in. So if you think about how snow works, it must have been, the ash must have been about here. You must have been wading through the ash. So they were trying to hold on to things. A baby was going to be born, and then they died.
Eddie's journey has already covered nearly 200,000 years of human history. The landscape of towns, streets and houses, of civilization, is becoming much more familiar.
I feel like I've been taken inside a real Latin Roman life, and that links to my mother's line. And just touching the walls is really close.
Eddie's genetic cousins settled in southern Europe, but his direct ancestors appear to have followed a more northerly route through Central Europe on their migration to Britain. Eddie's next key marker shows that this direct maternal line had, by the time of the Pompeii eruption, moved into northern Europe.
We're getting to a really exciting stage of the genetic journey. As we get closer in space and time to Eddie's family in Britain, we can be more specific about the ancestral journey. This is because the more recent markers are shared by fewer people. Of the 69 markers in Eddie's maternal line DNA, this next one is the 67th. This means that we're looking for living people who share an ancestor with Eddie less than 100 generations ago.
We found another marker that seems to originate much further north. This marker is only about 2,000 years old, and the really interesting thing is that this group seems to be focused in Scandinavia. Your mother's people were Vikings.
Oh.
What you're going to do now is meet people who are directly related to you in Denmark.
Eddie has come to the ancient Viking capital and port of Roskilde. He is meeting Lars London and his sister Anne Persdottir. Lars recently gave a saliva sample to science. Jim then found him on the database, one of only 10 matches.
Okay, well, cheers. Cheers.
He and his sister share a direct maternal ancestor with Eddie from around 2,000 years ago. That's less than 70 generations.
We share a mother from mother.
Yes.
Are there similarities between us?
Yes.
Which would be interesting. Football, I love football. Yeah. Mathematics. I did math up to university level, but then didn't get it.
Oh, mathematics, that's last. I also studied math. I took a PhD in applied math and did a postdoc afterwards, 2 years.
I ran 43 marathons in 51 days about 3 years ago. So
we ran a marathon together. Yeah. I did a total of 13 marathons, but over a time of 15 years.
Which is an impressive record, and I apologize for coming with 43 and counting it.
That's all right.
I think because I have my father's name, Izard is my father's name, half your genetics is your mother's side. So you tend to slightly ignore the mother's side and say, oh, what did the Izards do down the line? Yes, I don't know that much about mum's side. And to find that I have a Viking link going through my mother, that is fascinating.
The closest Eddie can get to his mum's Viking roots is to put himself in the place of his newly found ancestors.
Straight your arms, lean forward, and you pull.
As they prepared to lay waste to a swathe of Britain.
Perfect.
From 793 AD, the Vikings began to raid Britain. Their secret weapon was the longship. Its shallow keel meant they didn't need harbors. They could row onto the shore.
Not too fast. A little bit, yeah, like that, and then more power in each rope.
Rowing is exhausting, so the Vikings used sail power when they could.
What we do is we use our weight.
Yep.
So go forward, and then we pull backwards like that, and then you fall onto me.
Okay.
And then when we're down, you push it towards the hole so she can take back the slack.
I understand.
Okay?
Okay.
And pull. Oh, that was too much. We will just go.
Don't I fall on you?
No, not yet. It's down there and push it. And one more time.
Careful, you might handle it. We need to get that. Oh, do me. Yes? Let's go back.
Okay.
How many hours would it take?
To England? With the right wind,
Yeah.
it would take them about 3 days.
Eddie takes over the controls.
You're turning the ship slowly.
You have to do hand signal.
You're turning the rod a little bit too much. Careful. Too much. A little bit more gently on it. Yes, there.
I want to do an extreme one so it showed up on the screen.
Yeah, that's much better.
Very beautiful. Coming very close to my Viking heritage. They obviously went over and did a lot of killing and pillaging, which wasn't so good, but it's fun to have a Viking link.
Despite the reputation for rape and pillage, Eddie's maternal ancestry suggests Viking families came to Britain too, as part of a second wave of immigration.
Maybe they got a boat right here. Maybe someone from my family got on a boat right here and went across and killed someone who was over there and said, can we steal your house? Yeah, anyway. So now I've got to go back to Britain to see where this leads. It would be so interesting to find some sort of link through the mum's side of the family coming in.
Jim has been searching the database for matches to Eddie's next significant marker, which will bring him back to the UK. He's compared it to the DNA of 12,000 individuals who have submitted to a full exhaustive test of their motherline DNA. He found 4 matches, and he's arranged for Eddie to meet one of them. The match is so recent and so rare that it has yet to be given a name.
You're going to meet 2 sisters, your nearest genetic cousins on your mother's side, and they're in Northamptonshire. You share an ancestor with them at some point in the last 500 to 1,000 years.
Oh.
So it shows that probably your ancestor came prior to that, which would fit in rather well with the Viking Age. So you're really very close genetically.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
Hello, Jackie. My name is Eddie. Hello. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jill.
Hi, Jill. Apparently we're related
Yes.
through genetics and stuff.
That's pretty interesting.
Jill, can I come into your house? 'Cause
Yes,
it's cold
sure,
out here.
come in.
The sisters share a common maternal ancestor with Eddie,
Yes.
possibly as few as 20 generations ago.
We are ancestral cousins.
Yeah, when you think in all these thousands of years, that it's just amazing.
Yeah.
The point is we're quite close as relatives. I thought we would be Anglo-Saxons, being blonde and blue-eyed.
Right. But you didn't think Viking, blonde?
No, never Viking. No, I was excited when they said Viking.
Yeah. But they were killers, though.
They were actually terrible people, weren't they? I mean, you didn't care who
it's really
they
is
killed
odd, but
or
everyone
what
wants to be a
they
bloody
killed.
Viking. My mother died when I was a kid, you see, so it's interesting to suddenly have this all open and have the mother's line.
This newly found link to his mum encourages Eddie to tell the sisters about the impact of her death.
This kind of emotionally cut down person, but you can keep going. You can deal with things because you're used to just being on your own. But I always think, okay, well, something bad could happen after it, so you don't ever get surprised. So you never go crazy in case something goes the other way.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Did you just say you got children?
I've got 47. No, I haven't got any.
Oh.
I have no kids, but I'm going to get some from a shop.
Well, you are funny.
Well, on a good day. Thanks for doing this. Cheers. Nice to meet you.
Thanks too.
Thanks for coming too.
We'll feed you if you like.
I think we'll be fine. I was looking into their faces to see if I could see myself. Not essentially, but they seem very young at heart, and game and lively. So I identify with that. It's fascinating to meet people with whom I so recently share ancestry.
In the lab, Jim has one final surprise for Eddie. He's been looking for matches to Eddie's most recent marker.
It's actually incredible because we found that you had a marker in your DNA no one else I've ever looked at carried. It probably means it happened rather recently. It's unique.
Yes. Well, it tries to be special. I don't know, it makes you feel good, but it could just mean that you're an idiot.
And none of the people had the change that we saw in your DNA, so it was quite exciting.
Wow.
We're still working on this, Eddie. We don't know all the answers ourselves.
Right. Unique sounds cool.
I told you were unique when I first met you. I believe that at some stage soon we will find a match to Eddie's unique motherline marker. We'll discover many more markers in his DNA and in our DNA. This is only the beginning of what the science can do. 5 years ago, this groundbreaking journey would not have been possible.
We've all got these journeys, but to suddenly have it spelt out like that is amazing. I knew my mum for 6 years, and then she went, and now I know these huge chunks of stuff about mum, going all the way back to Africa, through Turkey, getting all the way up to Denmark, and her lineage probably came in 1,000 years ago. And the Vikings would have landed in the seas of Britain, weather like this, and would have scared the bejesus out of everyone. But maybe my mum was in the second wave. Maybe that we were accountant Vikings coming in and saying, how many swords you got? So, to find out now about my father's line, that would be very interesting to put those two together, because I am interested in what goes together in me of my mother and my father, and to find out where he comes from.
Next time, Eddie discovers how the male Izzards battled with the Ice Age and slept with an alien species.
You know, oh, sorry, mate.
You can't get much more masculine than that.
And good news, that's tomorrow night at 9 here on BBC One. And there's more good news from Russell Howard. That's over on BBC Three right now.
توكاي توبكوي أفري توكاناي تبليني سيناي دادو سيميغا تبليني اللي عالمين اللي في الدلمراي أساكو لك نبص يعني إنجليز بارو سبتمي سيفرس يعني قداكي كاركالا كبا يعني تاكلي أفرا كتبلين الروم تبليني هنان كادو توناي maxay maxaan ka raxo iskandaray inkii sada afar sugtay yalli fi dilmaray tobrahna no to ay daawino tama ti fransay fatini subtitle hi sous-titre ta fransay xilta mango afatite turkiya fatih awa ma afar fatih o shakudir sherina bay hay sai ya no misi ay daadu sikinna ya regimi kadama boysanu mumatak non ko maba تو أسمته ننكر مكديني تكاد ننكر ملا محاي بني أدمتي equality egality كوي متيه مشكلة ما هو محنا لكن كوكنا بنوه يعني أنا ما تهو يلي ما بالناي ويسا قدر يلي أبويمي مقولناي أقولوا يتانا فردينتا محاي ما عندين تقول تام كديني تلو حي ريدا كاي حيني عفرك مدعين وكخبيانا بكوسانا ويسا قدري تومري هيري بس تبا ما أول عربة كي كاي بكتا كي أما كن برلمان تن كورسين تلو حي تيالتاني إثيوبيا نتي أنا تي أنا يويتام سيدي حالتي سنة بل إثيوبيا كاتارجن نوصل ورستان سليمان كي بالكيسي سنة عفر لا يرسلت واسمه كادو تو سبلني سين سمع سنة رسولين بني آدمتي أنا عفر بركين يوم نكاري عفر برا مثلا إنجليزي لا يوم إنجليزي تمرح ناشوناليتي خليو لكن أنا عفر برا تو كان تو كايتو بكويو شاري نبايا ما فيديو لا تاني هيكي dia urdailo ibuldi ay ti ibuldi ay mangofat yani wa mahakar resultai tili waysa qudri ka hal hinna yسوى عدي libaro asaku wa'aytu hinna maike wa'aytu qadama kala asabadhinna asaku asabadhi maraka ne ma inoo kulay maxay difaaca gaxnaa nini wa'aytu difaacna abnanki keni sixabtana fadhidan سيحتوك بقدام فردينتا سيحو أما يعني حتى أنا هذي تو بكون نقدر نسولها يعني عيسى بارو بينفر أنت أنا مسينك عم بنا كذا عيسى بارو بياكا قدني عصب دايا أما أنا يعني يعني عفر أوريه للتاني عفر يسوي كوي تهدي فأنا منا بحي existential threat سمت بايسي كي بحي تيلي كواما أساو كيلي أكيم وعيت ويستغلقوه قايل حتوين فردينتا شارينا بمهمي إن شاء الله عكتنو أساقو تما سياسة كسين سنة بما فريول دون بني آدم تيكين يارجين فردينتا أساقو حروكا يا سين ورسه نبي موسى شعيب راجي جترو تيالي حي تارجيني هنا راجي ميقا كهلمي أسكو عمره نمي حيتوسو بنتو سالمي كي لكتسوغي عمري نبينا راجل شعيب راجل تا محي جالسين كتوبا راجل هيا تو تارجين فرداسا كو حروكا كي محكر حو دواني محكر حو اللي دعاراي عبيدة لقدما عيسي بيما يلي نحبوا منا يلي نكه حيسدوا تو تارجين فرديتا ويسا قدري اللي ربنا فردينتا تما دولتيا سترت الدولة تمكتن سترتا يانم سترابا يانم تاريخين ستراب كتمت مع فردينتو در رحيس دينتو أما مادة أمان مندا يانما always أمان يانم تاريخين أمان مندا مدعا أمان مندا مدعا يانم عفرت يكسوت كادو دينتو كسوت هيا تو كه تو أيدادي جرا عيسى قبل جحمام يلي نحبوا منا وقولوا دودانا مهنا ويسا قدري ديرا بالتلاحي وينا فردينتاها يا محكر حو أساقو سيسوكو كاهي انجهليني أنا ما وعيتو دفاعا كلي دفاع ميانا أساقو تونا رجال فردينتا أساقو سيحو أبنكي عسبدي توبكو سيحنا فردينتا أما يا تكلي حتى تكلي تدفاع ابنك كلام ما أسبدا ما يدفع كهبانا من هو يونه إثيوبيا ده كهربانا مثلا أورومي نما بودي سنة نعوسن نعم حرم نعوسن سبته محاجر سيف محل ديني سيني ديني كيف بدلني أنا أفرق ما بدلون كاتارجنا أفرق كاتبنا هاي تهر وعدي موجوي يوحنس فرعيتو يوحنس كاتارجنا توكي تك فنام لا نما سجلت بانكيتي فنام نعم تيكن حرمسوجي لا تقرأي كاتارجين هو عفرت بودين من اللي كيو مريساني هي عفرت طن المبودين عفرنا عوسن ما هيستمر يا ده طن لين وكيو جري عفرت ثاني مبودين وكان هيتو كوي شيرنا باي إن شاء الله عكتنه تما يدادي أسمت هينا يدادو إن عفر يدادو عفرك يلي بيسوي في الدليل مريمان كل نمو أفر ميجا ورستاك سوي أفر كنا نمو أفر كنا نديجر لكنا نهنا ما يانا نمي هيتهو أفركنا لأنه نمي هاي تقوميت مينا تو هسمة تو تارجيني سنو بوليابا ها تو الكديني تا ها إنما خلقناكم شعوبا وقبائل ينتا ها إنما أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم تقولوا محنا تقولوا سيادة قولنو لكن كوكنا بيه يانا ما تو يلي ما بيناي تو كادو متك يلي صغرنا اليمين محنا نو بني آدم كيدنا كي تيجي تو بكون النوتي يعني كيلا لكن تو بكون هو نبارو بيانا نبارو له ها تيانك بيانا سر ننو تو بكون كإسلام بيانا ما وهم قلنا تو إسلاما إسلام هنا نبارو نيم نمدعين نيمي ها إنها بارو تفي مريميانا قسبي لك بارو بيا مريميانا اتشوب بيا ميا هيا يونو اتشوب بيا ما سيادة بارو تحي مدعينو اللي تاني دستورو لنا ويتما نلبس أبتو ويتمتا أبي أحمدا ليس أبو غريدميتو أسمد تاريخين فردتا نعم سيل بيديت وقفه وتبليه النقص عتلا ها ما عدتن وعدي قص عتلا تو تاريخ خدري تاعتكي حي بياك باتو دد سموت ددان تاريخ قلنا هي ساكو كاكي كنتيام عن الحوانو والله العظيم تمنوا انتم يا رجال تدعي المملي أتي أرحل كهين عدم مريتي كوفيت كات هي كلا أساكو كان إيكونومي البري الدهجة ما هي international monetary fund كلا خبيه هو أمريكا كيو مريد واحد كهباهيني أساكو إثيوبيا لكنها تولدا ثم جدا بكوزو بارو تقرحين فدا إيسي هقرحيل يلي تتي هقرحيسي هيا يونو إثيوبيا نك بايتما عفرها يسوي تكي إيه كهتا يسوي تما من إن كيش كهتا يسوي تما عفر تو تاريخني فبنت أسمع عفرها هذا ما يترك سوتي توكل هيا يونو إثيوبيا بوكي لحتم كي سيدي حسن تويدا تانين بس بوكي لحتم كي سيدي حسن هيا يونو إثيوبيا هذا ما يجان كيف آدم كي حاولتك كيف يعني آدم كلا يتويني هذا توجد كي توكي تكوس بمري يلا كيبل الفردينتا نهاي سوى تكي حاجة ده نجح توي تمتنا ترى عدمرين الدهي عدمري كهتارجين إنها برلين كونفرنس كريد كهرحنها حنهني ميتة نكس مد بايسان كهي ميتة ميا يلي يعني كوستينو تقول كبار تعلين فلنتا إن شاء الله خيري أكتنو شيرنا باي تمجد تعلي أبا